Boy, imagine that happening outside your window. Ponder on, Alaska. Ponder on.
Oh, excuse me, sir. You can't go out there with that.
It's okay, ma'am. I'm a meteorologist. Let's put on our wings and fly around the state. We got 2 minutes to do it. Let's get started. Many of you have been hearing us talk about inversions lately, which, not coincidentally, Bob Falk of Anchorage wrote in asking, what exactly is an inversion?
Are those last year's bib overalls you have on there?
And in fact, I haven't even washed them since last year.
Yeah.
Take it away.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, why don't I just go ahead? It's my segment now. Remember when you were a kid and you were flipping through the radio stations late at night and you found a station that you'd never heard of in a city that was hundreds, if not thousands of miles away? The limousines are pulling up. I think I saw Jennifer Aniston, John Mayer just making an appearance here. We're here for Mole Day. There's more than one chemical reaction going on. Am I right, ladies?
Woo!
Booyah?
Booyah!
If wanting this Christmas some money to save, or a chance for the family to just get away, well, a car and a saw and a drive down the road is all that one needs. It's good for the soul. But cutting a tree means a few rules to heed. Knowing lawful locations is helpful indeed. So listen up, people, before your Christmas tree run to the answer to Sherry Winters of Anchorage's 411. The Chugach National Forest is always outstanding, but stay away from Portage Valley, Turnagain and Moose Pass, and Cooper Landing. The Kenai National Wildlife Refuge is also quite nice. Moose Ridge in the valley will more than suffice. And when you head out, will a permit you need? Not if your task is a non-commercial deed. And how many trees can you cut when you run? Per family, per organization, the answer is 1. Please don't pick trees by the side of the road, by campgrounds or buildings, bodies of water and more. A football field and a half is the minimum buffer. We don't want our natural beauty to suffer. When all laws are followed and the Tenenbaum's been found, begin cutting the tree close to the ground. Don't top off tall trees just to get to the goods. There's plenty of nice shorter trees here in the woods. Be mindful of where the tree comes to rest. Away from streams and bodies of water is best. And to keep the tree pretty and in one solid piece, assist it in falling and drag it the least. So thus ends our journey, but if more details you need, we've posted more info on our website to see. And to all of our neighbors, I end this Christmas song by urging you all to please ponder on. Summertime in Dillingham means 3 things. Salmon, salmon, and salmon. And you can find all 3 of them at the Peter Pan Cannery. The seafood industry is the state of Alaska's largest private employer. And for the men and women who come up and work in these canneries during the summer, the work is hard and the hours are long. I should know, because as recently as last summer, I was one of them. The days start early. The showers are hot, sometimes. Then it's off to the mess hall for a little tradition I like to call the suck and gag. Eggs, sausage, hash browns, throw in 2 Aleve tablets and a multivitamin, all in less than 5 minutes. And it's off to the slime line to do your time. 15 hours a day, 7 days a week kind of time. Time where the clock becomes your arch nemesis. The more you look, the more powerful he becomes. And you can't stop looking. Trust me. After a day or two, you begin to portion the days off in your mind. You tell yourself, if I can just make it to lunch. After a week, it's, if I can just make it to first break. After 2 weeks, if I could just make it to the top of the hour, then I'm only a half hour away from lunch, which is only 2 hours until break, and another 2 until after dinner, which is only 5 hours till I get to go to sleep. Ah, sleep. The brass ring. A chance to escape from the ticking of the clock, the incessant pulse of the salmon, a chance to be horizontal, if even for a minute. And then you do it all over again. At the Masterworks of Yupik Science and Survival exhibit at the Anchorage Museum, the life of the people comes off the walls into your hands, your nose, and your ears. Curator Ann Feenup Reardon gave me a tour of the exhibit, but she's quick to point out.
It's not just a science exhibit, it's about a way of life, and a way of life that doesn't make that separation between science and life.
Elders all agree the exhibit should start with the drum.
Because it was what brought people together in the winter. They gave thanks for what they'd had during the year, and then they were requesting for it to come again.
Well, one of the first things you got to do when you get here is flip over the driftwood. Now, Ann, why is it I'm about to flip over this driftwood? What's the point of that?
Well, we're sharing here the fact that Yupik people believed that all things had awareness, and by flipping it, you're making it more comfortable. And in gratitude, it will give you good things.
The Yupik had what some would consider unconventional methods.
They used their lower teeth to press the wood, and you can see little tooth marks, lower tooth marks, if you look on the inside of the kayak frame.
One of the most fascinating is when you put it under a polarized light, start to bend, you can kind of make out where the tension for this is taking place. But then, when you go down to the ones that would have the bite in it, and this is an amazing, you can see how the energy absorption, how much more efficient that would be. Want to camouflage yourself from your prey and hear them from long distances? Now try a bentwood hat. And without the hat, you really can't hear anything. You put the hat back on, and suddenly you start to hear noises, and really the physics behind it, it just acts essentially as a funnel to absorb all the sound waves, and it comes back around to your ears, whereas if you have the hat off, all the sounds just go by. Sunshine reflecting off the snow? Try some Yupik sunglasses. Trying to hunt a bearded seal? Try putting your ear to your paddle. The vibrations are actually picked up by the wood. Well, you might get tonight's dinner thanks to this oar. Never smelled seal oil? They got you covered. Test out the salmon skin mittens in the cold box. One is bare and the other is insulated with grass. It's amazing. You can feel all of a sudden this left hand here starting to get colder. This one, really no issue whatsoever. Grass can also be braided and made into some very strong rope. You can actually pick up an entire backpack of fish. The Yupik used everything, including urine.
But aged urine has it has ammonia, and it acts like a Clorox.
And once you've fallen in love with the culture, don't forget to stop and learn a few words of the native tongue.
Yumnak perlasput.
Yumnak perlasput. I'm not an expert. When leaving, you'll reflect on how you've interacted with valuable native culture. Learn a lot about, science from a culture that really didn't have a word for science.
But had it in everything that they did.
Had it in everything they did. And maybe give one more flip of the driftwood for good luck.
Okay, gang, Scott says there's a common element between Captain Cook, overexertion, pizza, and a pint. Any ideas?
Perspiration?
Jackie, you're our science expert.
Fermentation.
Oh.
Booyah.
Booyah.
When you hear the word fermentation, the first thing you think of are things like beer and wine, right? But bread and cheese use the fermentation process as well. There's a lot more, too.
Oh, excuse me, sir, you can't go out there with that.
It's okay, ma'am. I'm a meteorologist. When you overexert your body actually ferments lactic acid, the byproducts of which are more than apparent after a long day of skiing. Ow, 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 ow. Captain Cook is said to have eliminated scurvy, a potentially deadly vitamin C deficiency, by serving his crew a daily ration of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut uses fermentation's ability to both create and resist spoilage. But fermentation really touches our daily lives on a regular basis, like when we go out for pizza and a pint with friends. Fermentastic. We all know that fermentation is crucial in the brewing process, but what exactly is fermentation?
Yeast metabolizes the sugars and some of the nitrogenous material in the sugar water.
And in layman's terms?
Sugar enters cell, enzymes metabolize sugar, CO2 fart out, alcohol, Basically what we're drinking is yeast waste, and we like it.
Yeah, my wife never complains when I take my work home. So.
But fermentation is also crucial in making pizza crust.
It is definitely one of our staples, the crust.
What will happen is those yeast will become part of the water, and then the sugar will melt, and then the yeast will start eating the sugar.
And the carbon dioxide bubbles released cause the dough to expand.
So it'll double its size.
Wow.
And then once we pull it, once it doubles its size, we're ready to roll it, and then we cut it into individual pieces.
Then throw on some cheese, which also requires the fermentation process, some toppings, and our fermentation-dependent meal is ready. So the next time you're out for pizza and a pint with your sweetie, or in my case, well, sweeties, keep in mind there's more than one chemical reaction going on. Am I right, ladies?
Woo!
Booyah?
Booyah!